This episode is brought to you by The Farmer's Dog, a service that delivers gently cooked, freshly made pet food straight to your door. Each balanced recipe is developed by board-certified nutritionists and clinically proven to support healthy aging. The Farmer's Dog, guided by science, driven by love. New customer? Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/Spotify. Plus, you get free shipping.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Here at Blue Apron, we know exactly how hectic school nights can be. That's why we created Assemble and Bake. Delicious one-pan meals that make family dinner simple. Just assemble the pre-chopped ingredients and put the pan in the oven to bake. Then you're free to help out with that last-minute diorama. Shop Assemble and Bake at blueapron.com. Get 50% off your first 2 orders with code APRON50. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
It's really cool.
Bonjour, hello and welcome to the Rosbif Rugby podcast, your one-stop shop for all things French rugby, top 14, Pro de National, the Champions and Challenge Cups, the French national team, and of course the brilliant town, cities, bars, restaurants, stadium, fans, everything that makes the French rugby experience so sublime. I'm joined by Rob. He's still rocking the festive jumper. Have you had a nice Christmas, Rob?
Yeah, I have. When is okay to stop wearing the Christmas jumper?
When's the 12th night, 12th
yeah,
day of
exactly.
Christmas? What's that, 5th of Jan, is it?
I think you're getting a bit weird after 1st of Jan, but yeah, I always, you've only got a month to wear them. So when you've got 4 Christmas jumpers or whatever I've got now, you kind of got to get them all in. So yeah, give them as much airtime as they can. But yeah, I'm all right.
Have we, since we've, I can't remember what you had last week, maybe the Toulouse kit. Has this Bayonne horse one come out in recent episodes, or has it gone Pau, Toulouse, and now finally
it was out after
horse?
No, it was there for the Bayonne Conga post after all 3 of them lost. Yeah, post Quins. I have to say the one that has had the most wear is obviously the Section Paroise one. It's just currently being washed, which I think was much needed.
Other than, is that sign of a successful Christmas, Rob?
I don't know about success. I feel like I've watched
Christmas jumper.
Yeah, I feel like it's a boozy Christmas. I feel like I had a period of days where I was one of hungover, drunk, asleep for pretty much 72 hours, and all largely alcohol related.
It's encouraging to know.
I was at live sport. Like it all went very quickly. All a bit of a blur.
You went out to you're at Caldy, right?
I went to Caldy, but I was at Tranmere the day before for the Rovers, the Super White Army, getting a 1-0 win at home to Fleetwood Town. And then I was at Caldy versus Ampthill the following day. So yeah, making the most of my time up on the Wirral to try and get as much sporting action in as possible.
Very nice, very nice.
Caldy. I mean, like Caldy is. I don't know if you saw from some of the photos I sent, but it's a world away from Pro de Deux. Like if you think back to our wander around Argennes, it's chalk and cheese. It's not that the rugby is not fantastic. The rugby was fantastic, and there's some big old units, and there are plenty of guys there that have played in Pro de Deux last year. But yeah, it's a very different vibe, and they're a very different ownership and management and funding structure to a lot of the Pro de Deux stuff. But they're basically kind of quite a small club.
I mean, Caldy as a place is like a village, basically. It's like, right?
Yeah. I guess it's kind of become a kind of like it kind of collects all of the towns along that side of the Wirral in terms of like the catchment area, and there's actually quite some relatively populous towns along there, like West Kirby has Neston. but like I don't know how many clubs there are. Like, so like I kind of know more about the cricket. My cousins live in Heswell, but they all played at Neston sort of thing, and it's
Okay.
But the big club up there for a while was New Brighton, which was where Carwyn Tuipulotu played, and Carwyn
really?
Tuipulotu's dad played. Yeah.
Oh wow, very good knowledge. Very nice. Yeah.
How about you? How was your Christmas?
It's lovely. Yeah, we got back last night from a bit of an east to west tour. A few days in Suffolk, a few days in Pembrokeshire and Wales. No such live sport watching. Did manage to get in the sea day after Boxing Day, which was cold.
Very impressive.
Yeah, very, very. Not entirely. Usually
warmer
quite
at
enjoy
Christmas
it,
than it is at Easter, though, Richard.
Not sure I'm buying that. Certainly not based on the times I've been in Easter and Christmas in the last 12 months. It was pretty brutal, but it was good fun. And managed to catch a little bit of rugby interspersed in that. Notably, the original Rosbiff derby, Exeter Leicester went the Chiefs' way, which is good.
Some cracking games in the Prem. It has to be said. I've watched quite a few of them.
Yeah, there were. I saw the Saints Bath game as well. That was pretty mad.
Cracker, and obviously a brilliant own try from Marcus Smith. Got to mention it.
Yeah, fair play. Get him in a French shirt, and he'd be well up there. I think.
If only he'd done that at Stade Francais rather than Harlequins, that would have been. He'd been a real contender for the Golden Berth. The Golden
Berth, exactly. Top 14 wise. We obviously had a slightly abridged pod last week, mid my travels. Congrats to anyone who managed to do the not exactly insurmountable task of getting more than 4 questions out of 15 right on Rob's quiz last week.
You got 5, and I think I would. 5. Okay. Listening back to it, I think you got a couple of halves. Listening back to it, I think I probably would have answered exactly the same as you into basically every question. So yeah, I would have got 5.
I'm looking forward to the
the
comeback quiz. Top 14, all home wins, unless I'm misremembering something.
Yeah.
Which is maybe a point for a moment as well. I saw a statistic the other day. I can't remember. It was one of the Twitter accounts, like rugby commentary. I think less than half the away wins of the Premiership after the same number of games, percentage wise, and
really?
I think 14% of games have been being won by the away side in the top 14. And as part of that same comment was that basically the last however many Sunday night games have been real blowouts as well, as part of that. And that's probably the best place to start because it's maybe where most of the eyes and cameras and attention were. Antoine Dupont's first start since, when was it? October 24th?
First top 14 start. He started in the Glasgow game, didn't he? Yeah.
Top 14 start, sorry. Yeah. And it was an absolute pace thing.
Yeah.
is the long and short of it. I don't know. There are two.
I was a little bit more hopeful when I saw the La Rochelle side. There was a few, they're obviously still battling a fair few injuries, but there was enough names there for it to be not a blowout. Do you know what I mean? I kind of expected a bit more.
Yeah, potentially. I almost feel like the two ways I was maybe going to tee this up is one, some of the kind of Toulouse excellence after obviously they had that game at Glasgow a few weeks back, a bit of stickiness, and maybe that was their aberration for the season. Because not only the score in this, but I think the manner of some of the rugby played was the sort of Toulouse brilliant cliches almost, which is slightly scary for the rest. And then the second was just where a La Rochelle at the moment. So maybe we focus on the positive first of all, which was the wizardry at points in this game.
I'm a little bit at a loss to say where Toulouse are at. I don't know if you feel this. There is an element, there's an unwritten rule, and I've seen plenty of people write this rule. There's an unwritten rule about the top 14 that Toulouse can be a bit boring in their excellence. It is a little bit what's the point in watching it sort of thing? Because other than the aesthetic beauty of it, there's a contest. It's a little bit pointless, and they have utterly blown sides away at home this season, and it is remarkable. Think back to that game we were at against Castres. A lot of the games at home have followed that sort of template as well, and it's just. But equally, they have cocked up a few times. Like you'd think if you only ever watch them at home, you'd think they would be 20 points clear in the league, give or take a couple of points deduction for some Jamino stuff. But, they did cock up away at Glasgow. They did cock up away at, they were basically didn't turn up at Montpellier. And we've kind of always kind of thought that the kind of default setting is that they will win every game and can't see how they're beaten. And you definitely watch games, you're like, this team will never lose a game again. Yet they're coming unstuck more often than I thought they would. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, perhaps. I think the real aberration was the Montpellier game, who, in fairness, Montpellier have been very strong at home as well, for the most part. I think the Glasgow one, you can. I don't read maybe as much into it in the sense that I think, one, Glasgow are obviously an excellent side, and two, it was a half which, with some gammy conditions, and that's not to say it wasn't a cock up, because it absolutely was. Like, conceding 4 unanswered tries in half an hour in conditions where it was difficult to play is a cock up. But my sort of overriding sense is like, could that be the sort of one for the season? And that's also not to say that now they haven't got a bit of an uphill task comparatively to other sides in the Champions Cup. But I do think, I still think they are by far and away the front runners for the top 14. I still think they're the team to be in the Champions Cup. And I think a couple of kind of coaches in the top 14. I mean, I think Gazal said it last week after the Lyon game, and maybe I think O'Gara potentially said something similar after this one around just how far ahead they are of the rest. And maybe there's a little bit of not arse covering in there from beaten coaches who have been hammered at home, but maybe there's a tiny bit. But ultimately, I don't think they're that far wrong. Certainly when it does click, and they do have the sort of the guys at full strength. They still got guys to welcome back, right? There were, I can't remember exactly who was missing in this game, but it wasn't wall to wall. So yeah, I still think. I'll go back to the default, as you said, the start of the season. I still think they're the side to beat.
Yeah, fair enough. La Rochelle.
It was, La Rochelle. I mean, they're in a real, as if. Although actually, I don't necessarily think this is the game to hammer La Rochelle for, given the way that other teams have come unstuck.
Bordeaux got
stuffing, albeit they did send like the youth, didn't they? But like Castres got stuffed, as you say, like Racing got stuffed. It's kind of been, it was only Stade Francais really who put up much of a fight away at Toulouse, right? I can't think of too many other games that have.
One of the smallest margins is actually Perpignan. Weirdly enough.
Maybe we can talk about in just.
I mean, that's still like 20 points, but yeah.
But yeah, I think for this one, it's not. This isn't the sort of smoking gun of La Rochelle's malaise currently. I think it is concerning that, as you say, there are some decent names out there, and to fold, or maybe fold's a bit unfair, but to lose by that margin when you have that personnel, albeit big asterisk with a few pretty key injuries still knocking about, is not ideal. But they just can't seem to. I think the thing that's over the last 2 seasons really is that there's no consistency at all. No. There's no sort of, they don't seem to be like runs of 3 or 4 wins, or a couple of home wins, couple of away bonus points, or anything like that. It just seems to be, you just don't quite know who's gonna turn up. And I think maybe part of that is that they seem to be reliant on individuals maybe a little bit more than some of the other teams in the side. They seem to still have a huge amount of onus on, is Greg Aldridge going to have a good game? When they looked right at the start of the season, a lot of that was through Le Garrec and a lot of individual brilliance there. And it just, I don't know, it just seems a bit disjointed.
Yeah. Trying to think of an analogous side in history of, like, nearest I can think of is like Chelsea in the kind of post, I don't know which era it would be, but like when they still had all the legends and they would just randomly just pull an unreal performance out the bag and ruin someone's season. It feels a little bit like that. Like because they've still got so much quality, there'll be a day that, like last year they did it. They ruined Bath's season basically. Well, Bath's Champions Cup by winning away because they all rocked up and they were unreal. And it just they feel like that sort of side. Like they might just turn up one day and they could, just derail someone else's season, because you're right. It's more a kind of toss of a coin, isn't it? Like, will they all click at the same time? And then it's a very, very good team.
Yeah.
And otherwise they're pretty bang average.
Yeah. I mean, they're arguably some of their best performances this season have been in losses. I think like they could have beaten Bordeaux at the start of the season away from home in a game they were expected to get hammered in. They were a bit unlucky away at Stade Francais, who have had a great year. They lost that was literally the last kick of the game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then, Lyon, obviously Lyon are in a bit of a patch at the moment, but when La Rochelle thumped them away, Lyon were going okay-ish back in October. And yet they lost to Castres at home, who at one point had 12 men. And so, I mean, I feel like we've spoken about it a fair bit, right? But they are currently just another middling team, I think, aren't they, in the chasing pack?
I think you only need to really look at the table, to be honest. There's the two at the bottom who are still some way off. And then I think there are a few sides that are ultimately just a bit disappointing. And I would put into that, well, maybe it's only three. Maybe it's only La Rochelle, Clermont and Lyon, so 10th, 11th, 12th. But maybe Racing could go into that as well, who are just... I mean, I'm kind of amazed looking at it that Castres are below Racing. That kind of feels a bit strange, because I feel Castres have been a little bit more positive than that. But Lyon and Clermont are not far off being the same sort of side of La Rochelle. Of like, some days they will all turn up and fire, and other days they won't. Like they were the better team against Bordeaux. They were, but it's so one-dimensional. It is just physicality and going straight forward. And I know we've said it in the past, but there was just, they played really well against Bordeaux, and all of the guys, like all of the big like Mawala had a good game. Like, I mean, if you're playing a physical game plan, you need him to be fit. And Plummer looked pretty good because he had a load of go forward, but you're still relying on the pack getting that go forward and being on top. And Montagne was pretty good. Thomas Sate was excellent again, and they're just relying on the pack. There is no invention, and it's kind of the criticism down the years of Christophe Urios is never, like, there's only so good you can be when you've got such a limited game plan. It's like, I don't know, you're never gonna, maybe you can, teams can, he has won the top 14, but
yeah.
I think rugby has moved on from that now. He does feel a little bit old school. It's a little bit like, it is a bit Sam Allardyce of like, or Tony Pulis. Like, there's only so good you can get when you're playing long ball football. It is a little bit like that.
Yeah, I think. I mean, also that was a crucial win for Clermont, right? Because they'd had a stinking few weeks in the lead up to it. And I was reading a little bit of some of the, or trying to read some of the sort of, I think, French reaction to Clermont recently. And I think feels like there's a little bit of sort of siege mentality with Urios. I think, and one of the comments or kind of commentary pieces I was reading was talking about how, Clermont are no longer they're not that kind of blockbuster, like big European name they were. And that perhaps, and therefore it's understandable, that limited game plan, the sort of, if you want to call it pragmatic, whatever you want to call it, is all well and good, but perhaps they've hung their hat on it a little bit too long. And it's, maybe the sort of thing you go to as a when you're a team in transition and when you've got a lot of new guys in, and there has been some turnover there, but the overwhelming sense from this article was very much, and I have to dig it out, I can't remember who wrote it, but it was like, maybe it's a season too much in terms of that being either an excuse or a reason.
Well, I think Fritz Lee said for year 3
last year, didn't they?
Yeah, but Fritz Lee referenced year 3 of the project, and it is like, you're right, this is not something this is what you're doing if you're under new management, year 1 or year 2. You'd like to think by year 3 you're developing your game plan rather than regressing to or doubling down on an even more limited one. It just doesn't feel. They will have gone backwards from last year because they finished 5th last year, and they won't finish 5th this year.
Yeah, and that's with 1 or 2 guys who actually, as you say, like Plummer's had a brilliant season, and there's a couple of real standouts in there, which makes it even more.
That looked
saw that.
That could be bad for them.
I mean, that is the spark, isn't it?
Yeah,
if we're being honest.
Yeah,
that's not ideal. Just quickly then, talking of a little bit of segueing, using new management as my excuse to move on there. Toulon Perpignan. Toulon certainly scorecard at least 31-16, fairly comfortable, but Perpignan showed a bit. Would that be the right expression here? I think it was only 3, 4, 5 points in this with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And I did see a little bit of Joe Worsley's reaction on FI UK saying how, that I think internally, obviously frustrating not to get a bonus point, but actually some decent performances. Quite a few guys coming back from injury, even though the side was slightly rotated, including, did you see Antoine Ocagne was back, his first game off the bench?
Oh, excellent.
His photo. Now, I don't know if I might be misreading this, and I might be being harsh on Antoine Ocagne here, but it was like a gym-related finger thumb injury, wasn't it? And his photo is him giving a big thumbs up to the camera, and his thumb looks absolutely mangled. It looks like something on like the Boxing Day leftover spread. And I'm going to assume that is post injury, and he just doesn't have really, really weird thumbs. But yeah, it looks like something out of Stranger Things. It's absolutely pissed. I mean, fair play. Because at the time when it happened, there were talk of like
career ending,
lopping it off, all sorts. But yeah, great. Nice to see him back because he's a quality player.
Yeah.
And good signs for Perpignan.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of positivity there.
Definitely.
And they are ultimately only a few points behind Montauban now.
Who are?
It was 19-13 at half time. I feel like that's a real worrying sign. If you're level for that long, that's like Italy in the bad years, isn't it? Like competitive
second half floodgates, yeah.
Yeah. It's
I did
I would feel more confident now about, because they've got Joe Worsley and Laurent Leby and Nicolas Nadal, but I would put more, and maybe because they brought in someone like Erdo Bajeta, there's a bit more to that Perpignan side going into the second half of the season than Montauban. Like there is zero shock factor about the Montauban side. Like, yeah,
unfortunately, I think I agree with that. And they
at least with like Van last year, you could be like, well, their home form is pretty good, and they just need to get over the line. And I'm not seeing that quite as much from Montauban. Yeah,
I think unfortunately that probably is the case. And Perpignan as well, that kind of monkey off the back in terms of having actually won. I mean, they'd have to have a pretty decent second half, wouldn't they? But you would still expect there'll be another access match.
But they only need to get to 13th, really, for them. Like 14th is disastrous for either of them, really. They're fighting for 13th. I don't think they're really fighting for 12th. Whereas last year there was 3 or 4 sides in there, so they were kind of all in this rat. But
could have gone down.
I think it's a 2-horse race to 13th.
Oh, completely. Yeah, no, totally agree. Just a quick one on Racing. I did see that a quick note on, I think Kalatse called out Shinji Manyara, who's the Zimbabwean-born young back row, who apparently he is, I think, GIF qualified, but hasn't declared either for France or Zimbabwe. So there is a chance that with Zimbabwe going to a World Cup, he could go.
Yeah, surely he's Zimbabwe. You would think I'd really like him to play for Zimbabwe.
It'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like you can have like a couple of years of being a non-GIF, and then you can become GIF. So like Henry Arundel was non-GIF, but I think if he'd stayed another year, he would have. Yeah, Baz Barrington said that to me when I spoke to him after the game. He was like, Henry should have stayed. He should have stayed for another year to become GIF, and then he should have come back to Bath.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, there's things to consider that we don't really think about.
Yeah. Right. Anything else of note from this round, the top 14? Bayern Stad, that was pretty exciting.
That was a pretty exciting game, yeah. Stad are doing all right, aren't they, away from home?
Yeah, they've been good.
I think the thing for this is that their pack seems to be really chewing up some good packs. They got on top of scrum time in this as well.
Which is what they did when the year obviously it was like the World Cup year, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
slightly mitigating circumstances, but they still finished second. And that was like the two Aloe Emils were dusting sides in the scrum, weren't they? Yeah.
Pretty good formula, that. Two massive Samoan tight, or two Samoan props and two Georgian props, and just rotate them.
Yeah,
all about 23 stone.
Simple game.
Yeah.
It's a simple game. But yeah, no, you're right. They're going okay, Stad. But the Stade Rondege, I think it's 21
still June
top
24,
14
isn't
games, is it?
Yeah. Castres, wasn't it? June 2024, I think.
I think it was Bordeaux.
I think Castres on the last game of the season, or second last game of the season.
Was it?
A couple of years ago, yeah.
Boys who won fairly comfortably in the end against Lyon, but did manage to. I don't think they've got an attacking bonus point this year. And I think that's one of the reasons they're sort of languishing a little bit. And managed to throw one away here as well by essentially lobbing an interception in the 78th minute, which was not ideal. But they are starting to they're starting to look a bit more fluid. I think like Petit-Fours, as we mentioned the other week, has been brilliant, and Badiang's playing really well at the moment as well. Like he's looking strong.
It's taken him a while to get like a couple of weeks. He needed a few runs under the belt, didn't he?
I think so, yeah. But he's looking really powerful. And he was on the bench this week. But the other sort of X factor at the start of the season, Karo Alevu, I think you mentioned that game against Edinburgh. He looked pretty tidy. He came off the bench and looked really nice in this as well. So I
think with like Petit-Fours and Kathangi, and maybe it's the same with Karalevu and Mbadiang, but with Petit-Fours and Kathangi, that it's always felt like, but Kathangi perhaps slightly more so, he's slightly more inconsistent than Petit-Fours, but when they're on it, you're like, how is this guy not talked about in the same way as other Fijians? They just don't, I think it's the consistency, like you don't quite get the consistency with them that you get with, say, Buanicolo, Tuisova, that lot.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Ramdra a few years ago.
Yeah, on their day, they are brilliant. I think like Goodhue has actually been pretty top quality this season.
He's been very good.
Just as a nuts and bolts. I mean, his pedigree is so high, so strong. So it's not really that surprising. It just seems to still be sneaking under the radar. And this is like a guy that the All Blacks like pinned their backline on a few years ago. And yet he's kind of sneaking under the radar somehow in the top 14.
Yeah, he's been very good. Kathangi, unfortunately, is out injured for quite a while now. He's because they brought in, I think it was yesterday they announced it, Atumanu as a joker.
Yes, I saw that.
Who's from Navarre, Tongan. So yeah, be cool to see how he goes if he gets to run out in the top 14. He used to play for Grenoble as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not familiar with him that much. I've not seen much of him.
Yeah, cool name.
Yeah.
Right. Who have we missed off? Your boys.
Yeah.
Not entirely had it their own way against Montpellier.
No, it was it was kind of scrappy, but not, if that, I don't know, it was disjointed. That's the word I'm looking for. There felt like a lot of knock-ons, felt like a lot of referees blowing the whistle, felt like neither side really ever quite got into their stride. There were two wonderful tries from the next man, it's from the band. If you want to be an electric back, you need to get in that band with Aaron Grandidier, Gaetan, Arfoy. It's the other band member, Clement Mondinat.
Yeah, he was very good. He was in the team of the week, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he's not had as much game. He's about the same age as Desperez. I think he's technically a fly half, first choice, but always his preference. But similar age to Desperez, but has barely played for Pau, and it's. Yeah, you look at him playing, it's like, yeah, this is a young guy, lightweight, talented. And then you give him a bit of a chance and suddenly he's really, really good. It's just another one of those Poe players that has talent in abundance. And if you give them a bit of an opportunity, they'll do something amazing. The break from Browbury and the little dab was glorious. But I think the second try that he scores is arguably better. It's just he absolutely does I can't remember who it is now, but he absolutely does someone dirty with a sidestep, just off his left foot. It's a brilliant finish. Montpellier, their defense is really good. I think Montpellier are a pretty solid side, I think, and this shows it to kind of fight back and deny. At one point, it looked like Poe could run away with it. I thought the second half were going to be like, right, now we can press on for the attacking bonus point. But for them to fight back to that, to get that close, I think they've got the physicality. They've got a brilliant defence. It's an absolute bun fight at the breakdown with them involved. I think they're like a little bit of a cliche, but tough to beat. And they like, Poe with a better side, and they made Montpellier look a little bit weaker than I thought they were in some areas, and made some guys that have had some good seasons look pretty average. But there's plenty of positivity for Montpellier. I think Ali Price has actually been a really good signing. Yeah, he's playing really well.
Definitely.
Excellent. Montpellier. I'd put decent money on getting into the top 6. I think I'd be more willing to hang my hat on Montpellier making it into the top 6 than Bayonne, Racing, Castres, that lot. I feel like I've left someone out there, but yeah, it's kind of those.
Yeah, you might be right. We will see. We'll have to revisit that. Cool. I think that rounds us off, right? Looking ahead this week, what have we got? Anything stands out Sunday?
I know
that. At Lyon, Bordeaux hosting Racing, Toulon go to La Rochelle. Toulon their away record is awful.
They were all right last year.
They've been horrible away from home. So that's hopefully, well, if you're a La Rochelle fan, hopefully something online there. And Perpignan will host Toulouse, which is maybe not what you want when you're in like quite a good rebuilding patch. So we'll see what happens there.
Hey, maybe they'll do it. And Poe will go top of the league with a win away at Lyon.
Possibly.
We are now in the retour phase. I can't believe we're halfway through.
Halfway, yeah, crazy.
We've already beaten Lyon, but who knows with the away form. Also, I guess we've got to think that this is the last round before Champions Cup. So you'd imagine Toulouse will probably rotate a bit, and Poe probably won't rotate.
Yeah.
Given I think Poe are away to Scarlets, I want to say. Similarly, Bayonne might go quite hard at Montpellier. Castres, that's the La Folie Douce game.
Is it?
The winter party at Stade Francais, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The one that's interesting is Montauban Clermont. I think Clermont might have thrown the towel in Champions Cup, which is not good news for Montauban because they might actually go quite strong for that. Otherwise, that could be a winnable game.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see how they go. Rob, just to round off, you mentioned it a moment ago, we're at the legit halfway point of the season, both in top 14 and Pro Day 13 and 15 respectively. So it's not like there's not a fair amount of rugby still to come. We spoke about a few of the teams there, but guys have stood out. Little mini team of the season. I understand you got some thoughts. Yeah,
I guess in the past, I think we've looked back on our signings of the season and realised that we know nothing. So I don't know whether we're doing that. I can't remember who we had in our signings of the season, actually. Who did we?
No idea.
And players to watch out. I think we did have Esteban Capir in our players to look out for. So
okay, that's good.
In fact, I'm going to find that post on Instagram. It's on Instagram. You can follow us at Rosbeast Rugby on Instagram. But yeah,
I can't.
We had Hugo Suns. I think we can be pretty proud of that. We've had Fabien Braubery. We had Mathis Ferte, Noah Nene, Caro Levu, Pacom. He played the other day. I was like, I completely forgot about him. Masibaka, who I didn't mention, actually scored a wonderful try and it got chalked off.
For what? I didn't really understand
Offside. It's that whole, do you remember when Nathan Hughes used to do that not every game?
Yeah.
When he was at... But
Ross Vincent's very good at it for X there as well.
It was for that, being in front of the ball or not the last man sort of thing, which I actually think was wrong. I actually think he was fine, but showed his gas.
Proper player.
We also had Leo Carbonell, and I'm jury's out for him, for me on him. Best signings due to Wainikolo. I think we can agree on that.
He was ridiculous against Castres again. I think he only scored the one try, but some of his... He basically beat 5 Castres players behind his own goal line at one point, which is a really nice touch. The bloke is Yeah, an absolute, just a legend.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with some of this. We did call out Taniela Tupa as one of the signs of the season. He finally made his
He
debut.
made his debut, yeah, missed that off against Montauban.
He
Yeah.
scored. I saw it was like Taniela Tupu, what a way to cap it. It was, I don't know, it was a top 14 video. And it was, he scores, but he's basically like wandering around, not knowing what the hell is going on for about a minute beforehand, because this move from Racing is just going everywhere and anywhere. And eventually he gets on the end of it. But it's
Excellent.
like, oh, great, he scored the try, but he is not integrated into top 14 here because he looks utterly clueless.
Bewildered.
Anyway, Tuarca Barley, a very good signing, I would say. Nacho Breck's had a good season, isn't he? Right. So I've my thoughts on terms of top 14 team of the season. I've got a few lock-ins, and they are not all Poe players.
Okay.
My lock-ins, I wanted to go Teddy Durand at Castres, but I think it has to be Guillaume Cramon at hooker. He's a lock-in.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to look past Leclerc at tight head. So there's one Poe player. Oradu has to be in there.
Yeah, I think that's not up for debate.
Nucci blindside, Kapir open side. Jalabert,
Yeah.
12. Who do you think I've got at 12?
Is it Fabien Braubery?
It's not. And actually, Braubery was going to be my third choice. I've got Nicolas Deportero. I think he has to be
He
in
has
there.
been good, hasn't he?
And then Nicolo on the right wing or on one of the wings.
Yes, I would agree with all of those. I'm frustrated that we have to go Cramon because I think Duran has been brilliant in a cast pack that has been a tiny bit underpowered. But
I think Cramon,
I think he has been amazing.
Over the course, over the first half, certainly pre-autumn nations, which is 7 or 8 rounds, maybe even 9. He was just amazing.
Yeah.
So those are the lock-ins.
Yeah.
So a few positions up for debate. So only one in the front row. Lou said, are you happy with Leclerc?
Yes, he's been excellent. He's been very good. God, I haven't given this much
Unfortunately, one of the players that has had a really good season at tight head is Hunk Patan, but he is banned from selection for us for obvious reasons. No crims in our side. No, certainly not that level of criminality. The loose heads, I think Jefferson Poirot has had a really good season so far.
He has been very good.
And then the other one who has garnered a lot of attention, he's starting to struggle a little bit at scrum times, Andy Bordelais. Rodrigue Netti would be the other one. It kind of goes to that thing of like, is your basis just the Toulouse team? I mean, obviously my basis was the Poe team because
of those guys, I think Bordelais has been amazing. So he'd be my first port of call. The other one, and we mentioned it a moment ago, Moses Allo-Emile, Stade Francais scrum has been excellent. He started at the weekend when we chewed them up. So
yeah,
I think he is outstanding.
Yeah,
looking now, he's been at Stade Francais since 2018.
Yeah, they said that on commentary on the weekend. He's basically been there since school. So his brother came across, and then he basically joined from school as a result. Should we go Moses Allo-Emile?
Yeah, let's go for a bit of heft.
Yeah. Because Leclerc's not the biggest. Second row, it's got to be Oradu.
Yeah, his line-out's been superb.
My second, we could easily go Big Jimmy. We could go, obviously the for us, it might be the kind of default to go for a Toulouse player, but our default in the second row is generally one of Dave Ribbons or Tom Staniforth.
Yeah,
but I actually think the player I would pick
quite a bit, so I'd say no.
Do you know who I think's been amazing? Brian Allen-Oisi.
Brian Allen-Oisi has been very good.
Or you go Boris Parlu.
Boris Parlu,
who's played in every game.
I think Parlu
every game for Bordeaux. He's played 15 games.
That's amazing. I think Parlu, admittedly, probably the standout game I saw him in was in a Champions Cup match rather than top 14. Yeah. But I think he has been outstanding. So of those two, I would go Parlu.
Yeah, okay. Back row. Now, we have kind of fudged it because I think Nucci has been playing 7, but we've got to go Nucci and we've got to go Kapir. Don't think either of us are going to... They are probably now the two best players in the top 14 so far this season, I think.
Form, yeah, they've been excellent.
Which gives us a bit of a problem because we don't think there's a standout candidate at number 8. I really wanted to get Woki in there, although his discipline has started to waver again. Not as many cards. Come on, Cameron, step it up, mate. Maybe it was just the presence of Christoph Urios on the touchline got him angry again. So therefore, he was just his discipline on Saturday wasn't great. But I think Woki, I don't think we can put in as an 8. I think my options at 8 are Johan Tanga, Sam Simmons, Soakula, Hughes, and I guess you could add into that Gorgadze or Issa.
I was going to say Billy Vunipola as well.
Billy is a good shout.
Very good at Montpellier.
He's not played for a while, but he was very good at the start of the season. Theo Entamac, but he's been out for a while. He was really good at the start of the season.
Mathieu. Bordeaux.
Mathieu, but that's a very recency bias. Yeah. I think if you were going anti-recency bias, it would be Theo Entamac. Should we go Billy?
Ooh.
I think Billy Vunipola.
I think Billy's been very good. I think he's so
not
integral.
Sam Simmons.
Well, Simmons has. I think Simmons has been brilliant. All the games I've seen him play, and obviously there is some Chiefs bias there, but I think he genuinely has been outstanding in quite a poor Lyon team. But I think in this team, I think Billy maybe consistently, and in terms of kind of game-breaking performances as well, he's so important as that kind of him and Nucci foil. So I think Billy. I mean, I tell you what, Nathan Hughes has had a great. When that signing happened, it was like, this is utterly bizarre. He's been really good at Racing.
Yeah.
Credit to him.
And I think the other one I called out there was Johan Tanga, who we think is one of the big money men at Stade Francais, has actually shown a bit of form. He was a bit underwhelming in the game I saw him at. He looked a bit heavy, I have to say. But generally, I think he's had a pretty decent season. But we're going Rosby's bias. We're going Billy.
Yeah.
Well, that does open it up for another big money man, or probably a big money man at Stade Francais. I'm going for my scrum half, Tawara Kerbalo.
Yeah, he's been excellent.
I think for the transformative impact that he's had. The other shouts, you could have Ali Price, another good player. We didn't have him in our signings of the season. Could go Paul Grau. I know you don't want to. Nolan Legarec, not played enough of late. Otherwise, he could have been up there.
Happy with Kerbalo.
Jalabert is, I mean, it's not 10. It could have been, you could have gone, Simmons has obviously been injured for a bit, but you could have gone Sagons or Plummer. Carbonell's been pretty good, but Jalabert is
otherworldly.
Well, having said top 14 player of the season is probably Capir or Nucci. I think Jalabert is also in there. Yeah. Left wing is up for debate, and I am going for Gregoire Arfoy.
Over Louis Bielbiere.
They are the two names I've got. Arfoy, LBB.
I can't. He's been fantastic, but I can't. In my view, regardless of how good Arfoy's been, Bielbiere is just, every time he plays for Bordeaux, I think he's phenomenal. I think it's a.
Can we boot out Waitakolo?
No, that is you know we can't. You know we can't.
Okay.
Waitakolo must be the most referred to player on him and LBB, probably the two most spoken about players this season.
By us or generally?
By us. And Browbury.
And Browbury, yeah. You've got to be for G.
The real
double barreled.
Yeah.
Double barreled surname.
It's quite a few. Sorry, total aside. Quite a few. I can think of 3 double squared B last names. Not Browbury, Bielbiere, Exeter, Paul Brown, Bampo.
Oh yeah.
Who'd have thought that? Yeah. Any more? Write in. Let us know.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. 12. We've gone Deporter. I think Deporter is.
Yeah. Fair. He's been incredible, hasn't he? Yeah.
I did want to go Nene because I think Nene's been fantastic. Browbury has been playing 13 lately.
He has been.
We could put him at 13.
Who else? Who are your other candidates at 13?
Gorge and Gaetan.
Oh, God, that's hard.
Gorge is... But arguably, Gorgeous Gorg has been more of a 12 as well. Gaetan's played for... Gaetan's so good for a period.
I'm happy with...
Unless we go Nene or Browbury at 12, Deporter at 13, or Gorge at 12. I'm not having Gorge over
Browbury and 12 and Deporter 13. There you go.
Yeah, cool.
Sorted.
Nice. Good. I'm glad we've got Fabian Browbury in.
Yeah.
We've got 4 Bs in the back line. Waitakolo right wing. Fullback is tough. I don't think there's a standout. There's not other than Tomo Ramos, but
who has actually in the top 14 had a few interesting games, isn't he? I mean, there's the highlight from the weekend of his little tip
That's
on
mental, isn't it?
kick pass thing is just so...
I don't think I've ever. He is the
I
only
didn't mention
player
it.
to
It's
be.
incredible.
He's the only player that has that as like a calling card.
It's like a signature move, just
Yeah, signature
not
move.
catching the ball.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
also exquisitely because he's done it as like clearance
yeah,
kicks.
he has.
I'd love to
Yeah,
stick him up front for France in the Football World Cup. See what he's like at volleying. He looks pretty good.
he's excellent.
I think Tom Banks has played every minute of every game. I think
Yeah,
I might fact check that. He had after like the first however many rounds. Give me your other options for fullback while I find that stat.
Guy who's had a brilliant season, albeit I think maybe half his games have been at fullback, is Max Spring at Racing, but I don't think it's enough above the others. Shabuni's been very good, but I don't think is probably quite the level of the others.
Yeah.
Who else?
Imric Luke has been pretty good at Poe. I also had Tiberian, but again, not quite consistent enough. Dylan Lades, we could go. Dylan Lades has been really good at La Rochelle.
Yeah, interesting. Who else? I'm trying to think.
Tom Banks. Tom Banks has played 13 games this season of the top 14 and has played 80 minutes in every single.
That's incredible, isn't it? I mean, that in itself is maybe. And he has actually been very good.
Right. I was really skeptical about him.
Yeah, he's been.
Because I never thought he was that good when he was in Australia. But should we go for that? I think that's
Let's do it.
More than merited. Do what you do at the bench. Bench Durand.
You get forward and a back on the bench. There you go. There's your.
Oh no, I reckon we could do Durand, Adosio, or
who did we say? Bordelais.
Bordelais. We'll go Bordelais. Tight head. We haven't really got anyone.
Durand, Bordelais,
Montagne, yeah, let's go that. Second row, Alan Oisi. Back row,
Woki, yeah, I think Woki's fair.
Yeah, 9, Grau.
Garrick.
Grau.
Okay, Grau.
Ali Price.
No, not Ali Price.
10, Sagons or Plummer.
Yeah, Sagons.
Plummer.
I think a bit more to him.
Sagons, yeah. And then Arfoy.
Fine, happy with that.
Cool, good. Happy with that. Relative consensus.
Easy.
Yeah.
All right. Be interesting to see. That's a good line in the sand for the end of the season when we've got 14 Toulouse players
and
seven Bordeaux and Browbury in the 23 jersey. Excellent.
Just on that then, do you think Bordeaux do you think that will be the final top 2?
Yes, I do.
Bordeaux got too much ground to make up?
Not necessarily top 2. I think it'll be the finalists, but I don't necessarily think it'll be that. I think it's a big bit of ground, isn't it now?
Yeah. On a side note, I do think we need to get to the semi-finals because Poe should hopefully be there.
Yeah, we'll see. I did try and get tickets and I couldn't. Or I sort of could for a short period of time, but I think last year.
Resale, don't they?
Yeah. All those Poe fans, mate, sending back their tickets when it all gets
come off second half of the season. Yeah. They're doing all right given the injury list. To be fair, they've still got so many players.
Brilliant. Kept
talking about it. It's like you actually look at some of the names on the injury list. You've got a pretty strong side.
Yeah, and they've also got that. They've been, and you sort of earn this, don't you? But you have to earn it more if you're Poe. When you're that good at home, after a while, teams don't look at it as one to kind of necessarily always go full noise for. Like Montpellier had a good side at the weekend, but they rested a few. And you know, obviously, if you're Toulouse and Bordeaux, sometimes that does happen. But if you're a Poe, you have to kind of earn that right a bit more. And I think that stands them in good stead too.
Bayonne, I think, earned it a little bit last year, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. Pro des Deux, we haven't spoken about for in any sort of detail really for a week or two. We're 15 games in. One for the real nerds, we can have a little play on the LNR's Pro des Deux team of the halfway team of the season. But
the big talking points, Richards.
The headlines.
The big talking point. Yeah.
The big talking points are, I'm going to go, well, you can't not start with Van as the darlings of Pro des Deux. Can anyone catch them? I think probably not, whether that be in the league or at the end of the season. I think if the 3 losses, or I think it's only 3 losses, they only didn't get
a
losing bonus point in one of them, which was the loss away to, I want to say Nevers. Might have made that up, but either way, like it's a pretty it's been a pretty astonishing.
No, it's Bezier. They lost by 6.
Bezier, that was it. Yeah, it's been a pretty remarkable.
They were dreadful in that
season.
game. I know that we kind of didn't really touch on it, but they were really quite sloppy in that.
Yeah,
Bezier were more like themselves, but they weren't perfect. But Van were really sloppy, and I think they perhaps rotated and rested quite a few in that. And I don't know how many are injuries, how many are unavailability, but I think they looked at that and thought they could probably get away with it, as many would have thought they could. And actually, Bezier rocked up with a team much stronger than they have done for the rest of the season, and it kind of showed.
Yeah. So that's
ultimately, I think, given how many players were missing, and it still looked like a strong side over the course of the 30 games, and when it comes to having as many players fit for those knockouts, I can't see Van being toppled. I'd love to say something controversial, but Van are.
Well, I think we said.
I mean, they're already 7 points clear, which I think is probably smaller gap than Grenoble were this time last year. But they just feel so dominant.
Well, I think we said, didn't we, at the start of the season? Arguably, they've got a better squad than they did last year in the top 14.
Yeah,
and I think that's starting to show through. So yeah, that's a big one. A little bit more celebratory of other sides is, can Valence Roman maintain their amazing start and push for potentially a home semi-final barrage come the end of the season? They are so deserving of they're level on points, aren't they? Second, third, yeah. But their points difference isn't anywhere near as good as Colomier's. But I think the fact they've won games away from home fairly frequently and beaten a few big sides at home as well, like they've been brilliant. They play like a fantastic style of rugby. It's been really fun watching them when they've been on FR UK, and it'll be really interesting, I think, because maybe the third point is, can Brive and Grenoble, the two outside, or the two big guns at the start of the year, can they close that gap, which is not by any. I mean, it's really not insurmountable at all. It's between sort of 5 and 10 points, but they have not. I think we'd maybe thought that would, in the case of Grenoble, start to turn a little bit more than it has now.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding the big elephant in the room, which is Sam Davis is now back and playing, which is seismic for them. But can those two teams close that gap? And the flip side is, can Valence try and keep them at arm's length? And I don't know if I know the answer at the moment.
I think, that was kind of the question I was considering is will we see one of the lower budget teams in those semis? We'll see them in the barrage. Like Colomiers and Valence should make the barrage. I think it has to be noted that I think they're actually both level. I think they're both on 11. They're both 11th in terms of the budgets. Yeah. But yeah, they're joint 10th. Sorry. But there's every chance that the semi-finalists end up coming from Van, Provence, Oyonnax, Brive, Grenoble, which would be a shame given that the entertainment and the quality that Colomiers and Valence Romans have brought to the league. I think Colomiers feel a little bit more sustainable given that we've seen it over the course of the season.
Yeah, definitely.
And
last season.
You mentioned it with, exactly. You mentioned it with Poe just now in terms of the earning teams rolling over away from home or earning teams kind of looking at you when they come to travel to your ground and thinking, we won't bother with that one. And Valence have kind of developed that a little bit. And I think arguably more than Colomiers, I think teams still feel like they can have a crack at Colomiers, whereas teams have started to send weakened sides to Valence because they perhaps don't think that they can get the win. So, and that kind of becomes self-fulfilling. It'll be, I think, so there's a question, Rich. Do you think the semi-finals will feature Colomiers and or Valence Romans and or both?
I think it will be an or. I think Colomiers.
But you don't think Valence will make the semis? Do you think it would be like Soyongalem last year? They'll finish 5th and then lose an away barrage.
Yeah,
it feels a bit like
possibly.
That.
Yeah, I really hope they don't. I'd love to see them. I'd love to see them in the semis. Arguably over Colomiers. I think they played such brilliant rugby this year. But that would be if you had the gun to my head now, it would be Colomiers out of those two more likely to make a semi.
Do you know who I think might end up in the top 14 next year?
Oyonnax.
Provence.
Do you think that it is finally their time?
I think it might finally be their time. They had a sticky start to the season. They're going really well at the moment.
Yeah.
I think come end of season, they're going to have Caleb Muntz and a massive pack and some very exciting outside backs. Whether George North will get fit again, don't know. But yeah, if you look at what they could put out by the end of the season, it's a pretty fearsome side. And I just think they're going in the right direction finally. I think a few of the players are leaving next year, so it could be carnage next year, but who knows?
Yeah, interesting. Right then, what other, maybe at the other end of the table to round off the headlines?
Can Carcassonne stay up?
I said at the start of the year that I was fairly certain Carcassonne would go down based on the access match. I am still of that opinion. I think, and also they haven't been blown away perhaps as much as I'd anticipated, which is credit to them and credit to the players involved. I think they are bottom of the league at halfway, and as much has gone in their favour in terms of the form of other teams and points deductions. So they're level with Dax, who have had 14 points chalked off.
Yeah,
Dax
are appealing it, but yeah.
But let's just say that
-4.
I mean, Mont de Marsan are in an absolute hole at the moment, and they are still a point ahead. And I mean, there's no reason at all why they can't continue their descent. But if either team were more likely to pull themselves out of that, then you'd say it's Mont de Marsan. And then you probably wouldn't have anticipated Béziers having quite such a poor season, and they are still ahead of them.
Scale, and they've lost 2 points for something from years ago.
Yeah. So I can't see them avoiding it, unfortunately. But that's not to say it won't be, as cut and dry as it was with Nice last year because of what's happened up to now.
Yeah. Do you think, and who then will be joining them?
If this points deduction remains in place, I do fear a little bit for Dax, and I really hope not, because they've been awesome the last few weeks, the last month or so. Just squad size, it's kind of noteworthy, right? That they have the smallest squad, the lowest playing budget. That is going to get stressed and strained more and more as we get to the end of the season. And I just think, if they're successful with their appeal, then maybe actually that gap is enough to, they probably only need to win 4 more games then, something like that.
Yeah.
Out of 15. Whereas at the moment they probably need to win, I don't know, half their games, maybe.
Well, I think the points appeal, it won't be, if they won't get the full 9 back or the second punishment. I think they might get 4 or 5 back.
Possibly.
Which could be enough. Because that's what happened with Biarritz last year. They had 5 and then it got appealed and they got reduced down to 1. It's absolutely mental down the bottom there.
Yeah. What do you reckon? Mont de Marsan they're the most likely, right, on form?
I'm not ruling out Biarritz.
Okay.
But I think it would be, who did I say pre-season? I said Agen, didn't I? I did say Dax to finish bottom of the start of the season. I think you make a good point about the squad depth. I think it's also the game plan we mentioned in the winter probably suits. If it dries up again, they might struggle, and that will coincide with when they possibly start feeling stretched as a squad. Yeah, I can't shake Biarritz. I don't know why. They're not putting out strong enough sides for me. But it'll probably be that.
We'll see. Okay.
Should we do a team?
Go on, let's do it.
So the Pro de Deux or the LNR have sent us an email. You can
personally.
The options at Lucid: Maka Vinopola, Luca Goganava, Irakli Michelidze of Aurillac, Andrea Pontanier, or Sebastian Taufifenua. Now, I didn't have any. I had Luca Goganava because he's got second most carries in the league. But I was going to go. He's also conceded the most penalties. I was going to go for Nathan Fressinon at Brive or David Lollahir at Dax, who has had a pretty good season.
Are we saying we can take into account
we can go for whoever.
Your bonus?
Or we could just go for Sebastian Taufifenua because he's been pretty good.
Yeah, go on then. That's fine.
Right. Okay. Confirm A. Oh, this is fun. Right. Hooker, the options: Dave Cherry, Roman Laterad, Dorian Mocopena, Clement Martinez, Effie Marfu. Now, Effie Marfu got a red card for punching someone the other week, so probably not, although he has been pretty good. There is one choice here for me, and that is Dorian Mocopena.
Yeah. Scored loads of tries, right?
Try machine. Absolute try machine.
Get him in.
All right, there might be a bit of bias here. Tight head. The options are, there's loads of options. Malachi Hawks, Santiago Medrano, Kartavashvili from Aurillac, Nefi Leotagunga, or Chris Judge. I was going to go Jonker or Van der Merwe or Buran. I'm actually probably going to go Buran, but
Oh, he's just got injured, isn't he? But I think Van der Merwe is probably still the best scrummaging tight head, is he? In
yeah,
the
I
league?
think so. Yeah.
Just realised, did the
He's not on the
previous
short
hooker
list,
list have Santi Sassino in it?
No,
No, fair enough.
mental. We'll go Judgy though, just for bias. Because we can't.
Get
But
him
in
in
our
there.
team, we will go Van der Merwe. Second row, Thomas Ploy of Grenoble. Don't think that. Charlie Francois, Nevers. Kern Blumen from the LAC. Charlie Gambini, Provence. I don't think has actually been that good. Andres Zafra from Provence, I think is worthy of going in there. He was one of the ones I had. So he's in.
Get him in.
The other side, John Madigan.
Big
Dion
John.
Everard Ulai from Carcassonne. Vladimir Chachinadze from Stade Montois. I don't know much about him. Fabrice Metz, I think, has been really good. Or Isaac Rodder. So I guess who's... Oh, I had Thomas Adelaide or Charlie Matthews, but they... Or Jean-Baptiste Singer from Dax as well. But I did have Zafra in my shouts.
Of that list, Metz and Madigan's been really good at Argent, hasn't he?
Let's go Metz.
Metz.
Former Po man. Okay, blindside, Platteret, Pedemonte, Julien Lebian at Argent has been really good. Louis Suad from Valence Romans and Wahel Pompon, who has scored a lot of tries for Stade Montois, I think. My absolute nail on the blindside is Platteret, yeah. I think he's amazing. Open side. Oh, the options here. Tomasi Fini Anganofo is an option at open side.
Ooh.
Stephen David from Nevers, Gregoire Bazin from Colomiers, Lucas Oudard from Aurillac, who has been pretty good, and Tembelani Bole from Valence Romans. We've got to go Fini Anganofo.
It's been awesome, isn't it?
Who did I have as my options? I had Laws. They haven't even got Courtney Laws in there. Unbelievable. Ooh, number 8. This is tough. Caleb Timu, Atunku Palter, Samuel Nole from Soyongalem, Uzer Kasim, or Joe Edwards from Van. I think of those, I'd be tempted to go Joe Edwards. I think he's been amazing.
He's been incredible, isn't he?
But Nole's been good at times. Powter is an absolute freak ball in hand for Bezier. What we're saying?
I think Edwards.
Okay, I'd forgotten about Joe Edwards. I think I had
He's
Jonah
injured
Junior
now,
as an
isn't he?
option as
He's
well.
missed the last few rounds. He's got a pretty
Scrum
bad
half, is it
injury.
even worth doing it? Well, okay, these are the options I had. Or no, the options they've got are pretty much matched to mine. Marquez, Michael Ruru, Arthur Coville has been amazing. They've got Hugo Boissu from Nevers, and they've got Leanne Lesgorge, who actually has been pretty good. I would also add in there Segala from Colomiers. I think has been really good, but he's not made this list. I think it has to be the main man, Samuel Marquez again, doesn't it? I think Coville's been great.
Fine by me.
Ruru's been great, but Samuel Marquez.
Cool.
10 is tough. The options are the exact option. The options they've got on here are the exact options that I had. Lucas Meret, Craig Willis, Maxime Lafarge, Justin Bourreau from Oyonnax, Valentin Delpy. I think we've got to go Meret, haven't we? He's so far ahead as the point scorer.
Yeah, Meret.
And he is doing some brilliant things in attack.
With honourable mentions to all of the above. Bourreau's been awesome at Oyonnax as well.
Off
fine by me.
Clermont next season, I think. Inside centre, Louis Marou from Valence Romans, who is very, very good. He's their captain. He's absolute nails. Ray Nu'u, Kalinio Ramoka, Matisse Balobra from Nevers, or Matisse Lafon. I had Lafon as a 13 rather than a 12.
I think Nu has been arguably the most influential centre in the league, right?
Tough on Louis Marou from Valence Romans. I think he's been really good. He's an absolute hero for them. 13. Ooh, interesting options here. So I had Matisse Lafon from Soyongalem. I think he's a key cog in that midfield. He's the only one that's been fit consistently. Takola, Milan Rabu from Oyonnax, Benny Taps from Brive, Romain Fouzier from Grenoble, who I don't think has played that much, or Louis Morland also from Oyonnax. Some not great options there. I don't think Morland has been all right as a youngster. Should we just bung him in there?
Yeah,
I've not seen that much of.
First season at Oyonnax Morland as well, right? So
yeah.
I think first proper crack at it, and they're going pretty well, starting as a young centre. Happy with that.
Left wing, the options. Oh, here we go. Erwan Dridi, Setariki Betuniata, Mathieu Assabez, still going strong, at Biarritz, Karim Kadiri at Oyonnax, and Ben Stevenson, friend of the show.
Yeah.
Quite where Perry Mayo fits into this side, I've got no idea, but I was going to have Perry Mayo on the left wing. Maybe he's on the right wing. Hang on, we can go out of that. Who's on the right wing options? Ben McGow, Rodrigo Marta, Adrian Lepeg, Paul Serrano, Luca Martins. God, that's tough. And then fullback. Okay, Perry Mayo is in here as a fullback option.
Okay.
Matichon, Boutier, Cohen, Bosch, Papunashvili. Ooh. They were
Billy's been
exactly the
good.
players that I was thinking of, but we got to go Perry Mayo because he's top try
Okay.
scorer, which means left wing can be Stevenson.
Yeah.
Right wing, Ben McGow, Marta, Serrano, Lepeg, Lucas Martins.
Ooh. Martins.
Really like Lucas Martins.
Yeah. Get him in.
Rodrigo Marta's good. Adrian Lepeg's still good. Let's go Lucas Martins. Je
Happy with
valide
that.
mon XV. So actually ours wasn't aligned with theirs largely. We had a different tie head, but I think other than that, we're
much
in
there.
agreement with them. Sebastian Telford, Dorian Marco Pena from Valence Romans, Chris Judge from Beziers, Andrea Zafra from Provence, Fabrice Metz at Van. The back row is Luca Platere from Colomiers, absolute banger. Tomasi Fini and Ganofo, who was amazing the game we saw at Agen, and Joe Edwards, who unfortunately is injured but has had a brilliant start to the season at Van. The main man, Samuel Marquez at scrum half. Lucas Mere, the absolute lord of Pro D2 these days, at 10. Ray Nutu, who is a top 14 player in the waiting, at Colomiers at 12. And Louis Morland, the youngster from Oyonnax at 13. Back three is friend of the pod, Ben Stevenson, Lucas Martins on the right wing, tacking the lights and gliding runner, and then Perry Mayo, top try scorer in Pro D2 at fullback. Pretty good
Superb.
side.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
One XV. I could share sur X. What does this do? Oh, I don't know. Okay, I might not post on that. Right. Should we come back in a bit for some Petit-Fours?
Yeah, let's do it. Rob, any Christmas festive Petit-Fours you've seen beyond the MC compare at the Stade Marcel Michelin rugby tackling a Christmas tree, which was quite weird. Yeah, anything else?
No, I did see they were zeroing in on our friend the Patoka at Stade Jean Daugé. Looks like
What was he up to?
he's had a good Christmas. Let's put it that way.
Good.
As
quite right
we all
too.
have, and I'm ironically wearing this t-shirt. I'm calling him out for wearing this jumper. He's put on some timber. I've put on some timber. Maybe we're going hand in hand. Maybe next thing you'll see me. Maybe I am the new Patoka.
Well, that was it, wasn't it? Was it last year they were recruiting for a new one? You could have been post-Christmas. You could have been perfectly placed. So, yeah, maybe get in touch in case that guy failed his probation. What else did I see in the week? Not a huge amount, a couple of cash-related things, albeit very different ends of the spectrum. One is that Thomas Kambazu, who was a long time, I think mainly 13, but played a little bit of 12 as well, won the top 14 winner in 2018. He's now a cattle farmer somewhere near Brive in the Corrèze, which is, I mean, why not? Why not? Like a bit of a change of career. At the other end of the spectrum, Pierre Fabre at the weekend after they went against Lyon, they had what appeared to be like a Brazilian themed night, and all the players were basically in Brazil shirts behind the bar serving pints to everyone.
I think I saw something.
And they also had like I don't know what the official, but they had like the kind of Rio carnival dancers and all sorts going on, which is a lot of fun, but feels like a slightly more, you mentioned it earlier, the Stade Francais, what's it called? Their collaboration with La Folie Douce seems a little bit more of an obvious meeting of worlds than kind of provincial small city Castres in the middle of nowhere and the Rio Carnival. But fair play to them. It looked like a lot of fun. And the last thing I saw, which was one of our, unfortunately no longer in the top 14, but one of our favourite players from last year, Dan Lancaster, now of Glasgow, already toppled Toulouse this season. There's nothing he can't do. And one of the things he does look like he can do very well is create a very nice marmalade glazed Christmas ham, which he was doing on Instagram. Looked pretty outstanding, it must be said. So a man of many talents, and hammering the top 14 winners is not the only one.
The one thing I did see that was also cast related that you didn't have was a little video of possibly the two scariest Christmas people you would ever, or people you want to rock up at your door. Tom Staniforth and separately Christian Ambadiang went out to visit Nolan and Noah, and that is not Nolan Garrick and Noah Nene. But they went out and they basically knocked on the door and presented them a little bag from the gift shop, and they had a shirt in there. Just looking at it now, this lad's just given Christian Bariang a hug. They've signed the shirts, and then I think they were off to they got all the photos, and then I think they were off to Stade Pierre Fabre for the day. I don't know how those kids got chosen, but
very nice.
Two young supporters from Castres had a little very personal Christmas present, which I think if you're like 8, how cool! Also, how big is Tom Staniforth if you're an 8-year-old?
Mate, that's if Tom Staniforth tells you to eat your sprouts and make sure you're good for Father Christmas, you are not saying no, are you? Like, the guy is terrifying. But that's very nice.
The other thing I saw, which is completely no, I'm not going to try and make that link. I don't know when it was from, but I saw it about a week ago on Mathieu Jalibert's Instagram, I think it was, or maybe it was on his TikTok. Now at Bordeaux, they do the shavers, don't they, for the Academy graduates. They get the clippers out, armed with the clippers this time round or this season, and I think it was quite recent. Was Big Ben Tamerfuna, and as you might suspect, Big Ben wasn't mucking around with the clippers. He was just going straight in, hardcore, like properly skinning these lads, and it was just hacking at it.
That's so old school, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is real relic stuff. But Tom Staniforth tells you need to be good for Father Christmas, and Big Ben says he wants to shave your head. There's only two outcomes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's all from me. We've got a bit more time this week. I'm off for the rest of the week, so maybe I'll do some digging. I do have printed out in front of me for Christmas reading the salary cap report, or like the salary information report from the LNR, which goes through all of the different stats. I've also got some stuff printed off about all the financial indiscretions as well, and I will pour through that over the coming week, which I promised we would do for this week. But Christmas happened, and I had to do stuff like support Tranmere and go to Caldy. So did have a chat with Richard Barrington after the game. So he shared a few thoughts. He did say, talking about kind of salary and budget related, he was asking, which ones have you guys been to all of them? I was like, no, there's quite a few in Pro D2 that we haven't been to, like the tricky ones. I like Nevers. He's like, oh, mate, I'm not surprised. It's like Nevers is not a good place. There's a reason why they got to pay him so much. And I was like, oh yeah, because they're quite high up in the operating budget. It's like, yeah, you got to pay someone to go and live in Nevers. I thought it was quite a nice area. It's like, yeah, it is around it, but not Nevers. Like, it's like Clermont then. And I was telling him about the horrific takeaways that we got in late night food in Clermont. But yeah, it was, a good chat.
Well, we'll have to be the judge of that ourselves.
Maybe we'll get him on for a chat. But it was a very nice chat, and I know he's good mates with a couple of other friends of the pod in the Farrance brothers.
Absolutely. All right, I think we're done. Rob, you can follow us where Rosbif Rugby.
Yeah, get in touch. Well, now I've literally just posted it on X. Our team, our Pro D2 team of the season, or team of the mid-season. Let's get stuck into us, and tell us where we've got it wrong. But yeah, we'll get, or maybe the videos on YouTube. We'll do our teams, and you can get stuck into us, or the comments on the All Things Rugby. We are writing articles for All Things Rugby, so go and comment. I don't know if anyone comments on anything on All Things Rugby, but you can comment. So go and lay into us if you disagree with our teams of the season.
Absolutely. All right. I've been Richard. That's been Rob. We've been the Rosbif Rugby podcast. Hey, you had a lovely Christmas, and we will see you in the new year. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.